Just do it on my computer too.
We are live on Facebook.
Great.
Go ahead.
All right, wonderful. So welcome everyone joining us on Facebook, on YouTube. We're so excited this morning to be welcoming channel and energetic and spiritual healer, teacher, and guide, Asil Toksal. He's joining us this morning from Sonoma County. Welcome, Asil.
Hi, Tanjila. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you guys. And whether you're watching us live or on the replay, we're really excited that you all are tuning in with us. This is an amazing opportunity to get to know Asil and his work and everything he has in store, as well as hear about the amazing messages that he is bringing through from the angelic and the celestial realms and the Elohim. So, Asil, we're super excited to have you here. Thank you. And, happy spring equinox. This is the spring equinox, and today is the new moon as well.
So many things, so many good things happening at the same time, huh?
Exactly. We actually hosted a spring equinox ceremony here in Sedona last night. And we had an astrologer come, Raquel Spring, and she actually spoke about Pluto entering Aquarius this week as well, and the new energies coming in, really ushering in this new age of humanity and this new era of consciousness. And I just wanted to hear what you feel about that and where we are today as, as this new energy is coming forth.
Well, let's see how far to, expand that scope of a question. Let me try with a small answer first, and then we'll go deeper and deeper and deeper as you like. I'd say we are in a great time of transition, a great time of awakening. There's absolutely no doubt. And it has started a while ago. It's just we're reaching new peaks of this awakening process. Like stronger waves of the awakening are coming through this earthly plane. And we're all feeling it. It's innately, intrinsically, it's visceral. Like we're feeling there's change coming, there's transformation coming, there's potentially even like a little feeling of unrest or unsettled, right? A bit like the butterflies before, getting on stage, maybe, right? So it's kind of like something big is happening or is about to happen, and we are all part. No one is exempt. And so the cosmological reflections of that, or the reflections of other spiritual teachers, of other channeled beings, non-material beings, the ancient scriptures, there is so many reflections back to the same thing that maybe an individual can just simply feel it's coming, right? So this is what I'd say to that. It's kind of an exciting time to be alive.
Wonderful. It is an exciting time to be alive. And you as a spiritual healer, teacher, and channel are really bringing through important messages during this time. How did this start happening for you? Like, were you always this open channel, just bringing through messages from the angelic realms, or has this been a process for you?
I mean, quite the opposite, honestly. So I was as close as it gets, considering, I had an academic background, and I had pretty much spent my young adult life becoming focused on how to succeed in society's matrix game, right? It's like, okay, how do you run a company? How do you become independent? How do you make money to live a good life so you can have a family and you take care of them, and so on and so forth, right? It's like you gain status and then you're respected and blah, 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 right? So it's like this whole game that humanity is playing, that this is the way to live. This is what's going to make you happy, right? And so I'm playing this game and I'm starting to realize it feels it feels off. Like it's not, it's either not my game or something's wrong with this game. And it definitely does not make me happy because I look around and all these people that are supposedly should be happy, or me, achieving certain milestones in my life should be happy. There's no happiness. There's
Mm.
like momentary glimpses of, oh, a momentary relief, oh, I achieved a milestone, but the times this relief and this happiness holds is very short. And it was getting shorter and shorter and shorter to the point where I realized I'm just not on the right track. How do I get out of this matrix?
Hmm.
So in that period of time, I felt mostly closed to divine messages or to even like an innate knowing. All I knew is something's wrong, right? That's all I know. What do
And
you do with that message?
where did you grow up? Where, how, like, tell us a little bit about your background
Yeah,
as
sure.
well.
So I grew up in Vienna, Austria, um,
Mm-hmm.
as the son of an immigrant family, Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was born and raised in Vienna, went to school there. I was kind of a, third culture kid, just trying to fit in somewhere and nowhere fitting really in. I don't know if you know about, but
Yeah. Were you raised in a religious background at all? I know a lot of Turkish, people are Muslim. Were you raised in an Islamic background or not really?
my parents identify as Muslim, but they don't really practice and haven't really practiced. So me and my sister haven't either. So we haven't really grown up in a religious background.
Sure.
And, being born and raised in a Roman Catholic country, living in the district of Vienna by Turkish parents, it was kind of like a hodgepodge of like, oh, here's another belief system. Oh, here's another belief system. So I thought of all of those as like constructs that society had created to feel good about life. Something that they could hold on to, something that would help them to move forward in life, and especially in times of challenge,
Sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's actually true. That's a valid statement to say that religion has helped people through difficult times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Others would say, yes, it's created also like very difficult times for other people. And I would say that's a true statement too. So I was not a big, firm believer in these constricted belief systems, neither practicing. So
Mm-hmm.
I see all of these, stories as like stories. And if they help someone to feel good, I'm like, great, then hold on to your story. It's good for you.
Sure.
So that was kind of like the upbringing, and it was very like academic, scientific. That was kind of like my path.
Wow. And then growing up in Vienna, the son of Turkish immigrants, Muslim background, but not practicing in a Roman Catholic country. Did
Uh-huh.
you identify with any of these cultural constructs, or were you just like, where do I fit in? None of this makes sense. How do I
I
navigate this?
I feel like we try to fit in. Like it's almost like, well, I should be Turkish or I should be Austrian because I can identify with many of these things, but nothing really fits fully in. And I've never felt like I fitted in neither when I was in Turkey nor when I was in Austria.
Mhm.
And what's funny is like the place that I felt I fit in the most was New York City. Out of
Wow.
all the places in the world, it's because it was such a hodgepodge of different cultures, right? So I arrived there, I'm like, oh my God, everyone is from everywhere, right? It's like no one's really from here. Yes, there's a couple of people that claim they have been born and raised in New York, but it's a small percentage. And everyone is from everywhere, and everyone is somehow accepted as a New Yorker. I thought that's an interesting concept, right?
And so
So I
when
spent.
did you get to New York? How did that end up
Mm.
happening?
That was in my early 20s.
Mm,
In my early 20s, I decided that Austria as a country, as a culture, as a paradigm, ideology, was too small of a construct for me to expand into.
mm,
And I was in the advertising industry at that time,
mm,
and I was thinking about, well, here are some opportunities that I could follow that would lead me to the US. And New York was kind of like the next stepping stone. And I spent some business, business trips there. And that kind of like, there was an excitement about it, right? You're in your mid 20s and New York is just hustling and bustling with opportunities. So that's when I said, okay, I think I'm going to make this work. And that's when I moved to the US.
wow. Amazing. So 20s, you find yourself in New York, which Asil, your story is so similar to mine in so many ways.
Is
Because I'm
it?
also, yes, because I'm also the daughter of, Muslim immigrants from Bangladesh. And I grew up in Saudi Arabia, but didn't, found it very confusing, just the constrictions of, the culture, society, religion around me.
Uh-huh.
And not really understanding how to identify, and also moving to New York City when I was 16. And
Wow, that's so cool.
but it's true. It was like when I got to New York City, I was like, wow, like this is it. And I always had loved New York because I would feel that energy of diversity there. That I didn't feel. I didn't feel that constriction in terms of we have to be one way that I often felt, in other places. So
You have a way of like live and let live,
yes. Mm-hmm.
right? Just be whatever eccentric self you are. You know, it's okay because we're all weird, so you are allowed to be weird.
Exactly, exactly. And so when did you make that jump then, saying that, you're in advertising, you're in business, you're just, you're really working, to achieve the goals that we are taught in society globally that, we have to achieve to be happy and be whole.
Uh-huh. So I was starting to realize that all of the work that I was doing in society, it was kind of like running on a treadmill or running in a hamster wheel, even,
Mhm.
right? It's like you're running, you're not getting anywhere. And time is passing and energy is moving through you and experiencing, burnouts. Like, where is this going? What am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life force? My
Mhm.
soul is at me and I'm barely hearing it in a muffled way. It was like, what are you trying to say? So, you know, feeling like I was consistently being pushed to my limits, but not in the right direction.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I decided at some point to jump off the cliff, basically letting go of all the security structures, so-called illusionary security structures, and to let go of all of that because I was getting sick.
Mm.
So it was really what physical sickness is started to get to me. And also psychological, emotional sickness. It's like a heavy depression was kind of like onsetting in a way that it was disconcerting, right? And I decided this is not going to, it's just nothing is worth, you know,
Mhm.
nothing is worth this, sacrificing this, right?
How
Health
old
and
were you?
well-being. I was 20, no, sorry. Must have been like 32, 33.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
around that time.
Mm.
33, and then, finally making that jump in 34. So it was kind of like that time where I said, okay, no more, and I'm walkabout. I'm gonna go on a journey to some of the most potent spiritual teachers and lineages to understand what is going on with me and what does my soul actually want, right?
Mhm.
There is something deep in there that wants to be heard. What is the purpose of my life? Where do I come from? Why do I exist in the first place? And where am I going? Like, what's the meaning of all of this? So I'm in search for meaning
Yeah, no, and we
because I
all are.
haven't
We
found it.
all are.
Yeah, exactly. And so I went to a lot of different places, a lot of different teachers, to China, to India, to Australia, to New Zealand, to South America, to Latin America. And, it's been really interesting to see many different angles to spirit,
Mhm. Mhm.
many different approaches to accessing spirit, accessing information, and connecting with the divine. And as I was going through all of these different methodologies and these different directions, and these different practices, I was noticing I love all of, but none of them feel like home.
Mm.
Again, the same problem, right? So I'm like, okay, this is a beautiful thing, and I just don't feel like, again, I fit fully in here. Like it's just I'm this square block and with all these round holes around it. It just like doesn't work.
Mhm.
And and at some point something started to happen to me. I started to have these out of body experiences in which I would enter what I would consider realms of great order and great magnitude. And I
Wow.
thought, this is really odd,
Mhm.
right? It's not usually, spirit realms or the non-material realms can be quite chaotic. They can be like the Wild West, I call it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Spirit realm can be a little bit like the Wild West. I was passing through those and entering of great order and beautiful structures and
Mhm.
beautiful light and light beings of that sense, and having direct, clear conversations with them. And that's how it.
That's how it all started. When you first started having these conversations, did you know who you were speaking to? Did they reveal themselves to you?
It took a couple of attempts to
Mhm.
have a a clear moment of conversation, just like the way you and I are having, because
Mhm.
I could not really sustain my state of being in those realms. I could
Right.
enter and I could like watch a little bit and then I would slip out of it,
Mm.
right? So it wouldn't like sustain. But eventually, like on the third or fourth attempt, and again, I'm not doing it like on purpose, but somehow my soul is entering these realms naturally, automatically. I had this circle of light beings around me,
Mm.
and I remember they were like so perfect, so pristine, so high frequency. The only way I could describe it back then was like they feel like blue Buddhas to me. They have like reached Buddhahood. They're like, and they're kind of like feel as blue light.
Mhm.
Like, this is really interesting. So then I heard one of them speak to me and said, um, "You're now ready, and we can work with you."
Amazing.
I was like, "Okay, who are you? Like, who are you? What are you? And what do you want?"
Exactly. Exactly. So what did they say?
So that first voice said, "My name is Emmanuel, and
Mm.
I will guide you through this process." And of course, my mind is going like, "What and who is Emmanuel? I don't know." So I'm thinking about like saints because it's not like the name of a saint. I'm like, "Are you a saint? Are you like an ascended master or something?" And he says, "No, you will find out in time." And I'm
Mm.
like, okay. And then so Emmanuel keeps going and he says, it basically starts to show me like as humanity is going to unfold and transform and change, there's a great process of awakening happening. And it's going to require individuals like me to be vessels of the divine through which these divine forces can work through. And that's what Emmanuel was saying. We will prepare you to be a vessel of ours where we can and speak through you, and we can deliver a specific transmission. We can deliver adjustments, energetic adjustments. We can deliver important messages and a transformational potential for the individual that will then impact all of humanity because the individual is the key for the evolution of the collective.
Mhm.
So I thought, whoa, this sounds crazy. Are you sure you have the right guy? Like, maybe I just, there's something got switched wrong and I ended up in this place and the actual guy that was supposed to be there or the lady, who knows?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, we don't make mistakes like this.
Mhm.
So here I was talking to angelic beings, which I didn't know at that time were angelic beings because I had the next day, I had to Google it. I was like, Emmanuel? Like, an angelic being? Is this like, hold on, am I talking to angelic beings? I thought angels were stories that humans made up. Wow. Either I'm losing my mind completely, or there is some truth to this,
So at that point,
right?
you didn't even believe in angelic beings as a
No, exactly. I didn't. That's the funny part, right?
yeah.
Because I
Mhm.
come from like this scientific engineering mind, and I'm looking at all of this and I'm thinking, this is nuts. Like, I can't tell any of my friends or my family about this. They're
Sure.
gonna put me in the loony bin. It's like they're gonna think I'm nuts because I think I'm nuts.
Mhm.
So here I was thinking, okay, maybe this was just a one-time thing. Maybe it'll just, uh, they come one time, I have an experience, and then it just moves on and never happens again. But it was so incredibly consistent, Tanjila. Like I can't like the and the promises that were made and how many of them were kept as like clockwork was
Mhm.
mind blowing. That's what built trust for me. Because a lot of people say, well, how do you know what you're talking to? It could be like a dark being, presenting itself as a light being, and so on and so forth, right? And so I was like, you know, having had so much experience in the spiritual world, and frequency cannot disguise its frequency. It's impossible. Frequency is frequency, energy is energy, right? So if a certain light reveals itself with a certain frequency, it's like to the bone, it's clear what it is. And the most important thing in exchange, in conversation with these higher consciousness beings, the way you know how high of an energy they are is if their gifts are unconditional. Period.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? We're going to help you, support you. We're going to guide you. We're going to give healings. We're going to give adjustments, and everything is for free. Everything is, we don't want anything in return.
Mhm. Mhm.
We
Mhm.
don't want anything in return. So to me, that's unconditional. And they said, you know, you as a vessel also have to give this in an unconditional way.
Mm.
I thought, well, that's easy for you to say. You're not paying rent,
Yeah.
right? It's like, and what about all the people that have to help like this work and this message, and how's that gonna work? They say, just relax, you'll figure it out. Now, we didn't figure it out right away because, I come from like a corporate background. I built companies. I'm like, we can make it in a way that people that can't afford to join this work, they'll get scholarships, and, we'll have entryways, and people that can afford it, they pay for it.
Mhm.
So we were going that way for a while, and that was working out fine. And then we started to get support, as in like major donors that basically saw the importance of this work being as pure as it can be, as unconditional as it can be. And we started to offer all our work on a donation basis
That's
entirely.
that's incredible, and that's incredibly generous, Asil.
Yeah. And I always say it's like, well, it's because we are being handed it down so generously and so openly and so freely. It's not for me to put a number on it and say, like, oh, this is what it's worth,
Mhm.
right? Because I believe it's priceless. I truly believe it is a divine gift of such a magnitude that I couldn't even like put a frame around it, a price tag around it. It wouldn't even be fair to do that. And then how do you deal with the global nature of humanity? Like people in Southeast Asia or in general the Southern Hemisphere, what they make in terms of, you know, living allowance and how much money they have available for these kind of things.
Mhm.
Shouldn't this work be available to everyone around the world, no matter of their social economic status, no matter of their diverse backgrounds, no matter of their belief systems? If we really want to be truly unconditional, just the way they are speaking to me and delivering this work in an unconditional way, how
Mhm.
can we represent that as an organization?
Mhm.
So this was basically, the establishment of our nonprofit and delivering this work to as many people as possible, as free as possible.
That's incredible. And so for everyone who's watching and tuning in, I know you have an upcoming course launching soon.
Yes, we do.
And I'd love for you to share with all of us about the course, what we can expect, how does it work? And, I just want to let you know that I'm planning to take the course as well. So I'm very excited.
Yeehaw! So the guides, initially, and I still do this, the guides deliver like these really powerful transmissions, and sometimes they're like one-offs. And we establish a certain topic and theme, and the guides will talk about it, they'll deliver an energy. And at some point, the guide said,
People can tune in to those regularly as well on your YouTube.
absolutely, absolutely, on our YouTube channel. In fact, all of those Saturday transmissions that we've been doing are freely available, both in video as well as transcript, online on our website, on our YouTube. It's all yours. It's public
Everyone
service.
tune in and catch up and hear the
hmm
messages by topic coming in from the guides. What are some of the topics that have been coming through?
Wow, so many. So, for example, they talk about duality and non-duality quite a lot. They talk about the power of being present, the power of the moment. They talk about the infinite possibilities of life if we understand how to be truly present. They talk about the awakening of humanity. They talk about the rising of the energies on this earthly plane. They talk about relationships and the power of love in relationships. Like, how do we get to a much deeper connection in unconditional ways? Like, how do we transform our conditional love we have in our lives into a much deeper unconditional love?
Mm,
And
yeah.
they talk about embracing all that we are, even the aspects that we have suppressed and that we have denied and that we have ignored for so long, right? we are complex beings with, light and dark and all the shades of gray that we have lived and experienced, that we have inherited from our previous generations. How and when can we embrace all of it? And what happens when we do,
Wow.
right? The power that's unleashed, the power of self-love that's unleashed, the power of self-acceptance, the power of connection and alignment that's unleashed once we start accepting all that we are.
Beautiful.
So they talk about these kind of topics, right? Really powerful, really to the point. And what's fascinating is, like, when I go into a state and they embody me and then they speak, it's like one stream of consciousness. There is like, there's no thinking. Like, I'm just observing as one word after another comes out, and it's just one perfect stream of consciousness. And it's so perfectly delivered that when I transcripts, I'm like, wow, this is incredible. This is really coming out of me. Like, it's so fascinating.
It is. It's very profound. I mean, I have seen you channel both online and as well live during a retreat, and it's very profound. The message that is coming through you, but also the energetics of what is coming through you is extremely palpable. The frequency and the vibration goes so high. So it's like, we can really feel the vibration of that message coming through. And as powerful as those words are that you're speaking, what is not being heard by our human ears and being spoken directly to our souls is even more powerful. So I just want to say, as I personally have experienced your work many times, and even reading the transcript, that energetic does come through as well. And so it's really beautiful and exciting when, when I'm able to listen to you and feel that energy, feel those adjustments and attunements. And so what can we expect from a course? We have the one-off transmissions that are very powerful and that everyone can tune into.
Right.
Where does the course take us?
That's right. So when the guide said, well, we're going to deliver a consecutive transmissions, meditations, and exercises that will support the individuals that are choosing to go on this journey of evolution, like consciousness evolution, to become what they called pillars of light. So an individual becomes a pillar of light. They become the most aligned version of themselves that is able to receive and transmit a light, that is able to be a standing, perfect example of a human being, no matter how hard the challenges are. It's a person that when, excuse my language, when shit hits the fan, right? Everyone turns to, because they're trying to see this person is holding up. This is the most grounded, most aligned person, right? That's a pillar of light. They're basically saying humanity needs more pillars of light. And we will show you through these courses how to become a pillar of light. So here we go. The first course of these pillars of light is called Foundations. And in this 4-week transformational course, the guide for multiple transmissions, daily meditations that people do. And we're being worked on a daily basis on all levels: mental, emotional, physical, and energetic, spiritual. And this transformation is palpable. It's really a potent change. And when they say foundations, they're talking about, in order to become a pillar of light, you need to have a very beautiful, powerful, energetic foundation of your being. A mental foundation, an emotional foundation, right? As well as a physical foundation. So all aspects of our being have to be adjusted as well as aligned to find this way of being. Now, we did great surveys after these foundations courses, as well as the continuation of these courses.
Mhm.
There's 3 levels to them, and people do report, like in the hundreds. They do report that they are incredibly more resilient about everything that life brings to them. Like even the most challenging things of losing loved ones, or in the face of, sickness or great adversity, they find themselves significantly more calm and aligned in that process. Many of them report that when they were, when they are healers themselves or spiritual practitioners, that their practice is taken to another level.
Mhm.
So there is a lot of that happening. There is greater access to the spiritual. Some people get direct and consistent communication with the angelic realms as well. And this is not a course to become a channel. It's not to become what I am or what I'm doing. It's about to become the greatest version and the greatest potential of yourself, right? To activate those gifts that are within you. And we all have different gifts.
Exactly. And so we have these divine beings coming through you, giving this transmission to support each one of us to access our divine gifts in the way that is
Absolutely.
aligned for us. And so I know you've been speaking about, the angelic realms, the angels. So these are the actual teachers coming through you, the angels
Exactly.
and the Elohim.
That's right.
Would you explain who they are exactly and what does that mean for us? Well, what is their role here?
Yeah. So that's really interesting. In some ways, it's really hard to put, human concepts and words against these like incredible constructs of consciousness.
Mhm.
So, and because, humans think in, we anthropomorphize everything, like we make it humanly, right? So the angels look like humans with wings, pretty much, that they do. And then, you look at God, looks like an old being with a beard and on top of clouds, that kind of thing. But, that's the way the human mind operates. So if I were to put it into words, the Elohim are a collective that is considered that basically communicates to us as the architects and the creators of this time construct and of this reality that we're living in. So they are in some ways the architects.
Mhm.
And the angelic beings are in some ways, or in all the ways, they are messengers to the Elohim, between the Elohim and civilizations. All the different forms of consciousness that were seeded in all this space-time construct in this universal creation. And these civilizations all evolve at different times in different ways, right? And these angelic beings basically supervise and support the evolution of these forms of consciousness and these civilizations across the universe, across
Wow.
the multiverse, technically. So we are one of those seeds that is coming to fruition, right?
Mhm.
We are one of the seeds that's coming to an important moment in its existence, which means their attention on us is just manifolded, right? Their attention is now, okay, this one is now becoming ripe. Like we are coming to a place of ripening. And the things that we're experiencing in human society, and you'd say, like, what do you mean by ripening? Everything's getting worse. um, but I'd say when this is a moment of transformation, it also means the polarization and the challenge data, right?
Mm-hmm.
The duality is going to be stronger before we reach a true state of non-duality, which is, the true collective, the one collective,
Mm-hmm.
living and operating like that. That's going to take some time, and we may have to go through a bit more trials and tribulations until we get there. Now, angelic beings and the Elohim and many other civilizations as well that are higher evolved or have been further on this journey than we have
Mm-hmm.
are taking humanity through this important time of existence. In this time of change, we have great support.
That's beautiful. That's powerful.
Yeah,
To
it
know that we're
really,
not alone here.
we are supported. But here's the thing, they're
Mm.
not going to fix our problems for us, because that would undermine the whole concept of us becoming an evolved consciousness,
Mm-hmm. So it's our
right?
work. It's our work to do.
Yeah, it's like you are watching your child ride a bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to ride it for them. You can't hold the bicycle for them the whole time. They will never learn to ride the bicycle. You
Mm-hmm.
have to take the training wheels off and potentially watch them fall a couple times,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
But what you can do is you can cheer them on, you can give them direction, you can give them guidance, you can coach them, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you can also give them a little push in the right direction, right? So the way I see the angelic realms and the Elohim is this is exactly what they're doing.
I love that. I love that. That's such a beautiful description that they are giving us that guidance, that little push, that encouragement and support so that we can become those pillars of light on this planet.
Exactly. Because we need it, right? We need that support. We know that we need it. But at the same time, support in a way that we don't become codependent.
Mm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
not creating like another religion. We're not creating like another
Sure.
form of worship,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think it's really important that we are to understand that we are in
Yes.
a new paradigm where we are the masters,
Mm-hmm.
where we understand our unique masterhood, the Buddha that lives within all of us, the God that is within all of us, and really everything to shed the layers for it to come to surface.
That is the new paradigm, and it's
It
powerful.
is.
Wow. I see. So that is very exciting because this is where we're going. And it's incredible that you're bringing these teachings through with this huge energetic support for us to really be able to embody our divine human.
Mm. I think that's, ultimately, I think that's the most important thing that is
Mhm.
happening on the planet. I believe that is the most important thing I can put my energy and my life force against. And I do believe that it is the most worthwhile thing for any human being to do, to
Mhm.
touch upon their greatest potential. How can they live life in an expanded way? Who doesn't want to have their actual potential activated, their gifts activated, right? Who wants
Mhm.
to who doesn't want to like heal more and become more aligned, a more loving and more healthy person? These are universal themes for all humans. And I think that's why this type of work is so important and it includes everyone.
Mhm. Mhm. And so can anyone join your course? Like when does it start? What's the process of this journey with you and the Elohim and the angels?
Yeah, so technically anyone can join. Uh, the way it works is the guides have an approval process. And the reason for that is it may not be the right time in your life to go through this course at this time. It could
Mhm.
be that there is something of great importance that's happening in your life right now, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, whatever it is, that the guides say, you know, wait for the next one. Like, this is not the right one for you to do at this time.
Mhm.
Have an approval process, and I go into embodiment, go through every list every week, and say yes, no. So a certain percentage of individuals get a not yet, so they're like subscribed for the next one, and then we'll check again. Technically, anyone can go. Anyone who's under 18 had to get their approval of their guardians, of course. And I think there is a certain age below which the guides recommend they don't do this kind of spiritual, deep work. And anyone from anywhere around the world can do it. All of the work is online and can be accessed to live streams, or it can be replayed whenever someone's coming online at a different time. We have an audience that crosses the entire globe, and very often it's a big group. Hundreds of people go through this experience, and it is very beautiful that there are so many going through it, because the field of potential that's created by the group, by the community, is incredible, right? This field is incredible. And our most advanced practitioners that have been going through a training have become ambassadors. They're facilitators in their own right, and they hold the group as a container, a group container. And we have many, many opportunities for exercises, practices together in smaller groups. So it is, it's an online course. It's donation based. It is starting on April 4th, but the pre-enrollment closes on the 24th, which is Friday. So Friday midnight pre-enrollment closes. So that's the last opportunity to pre-enroll if someone wants to join us. And I highly recommend trying it out and doing it. It's really life-changing. It's relative. But it also requires you, the individual, to say, I'm ready for a transformation. I'm ready to become a greater version of myself. And many of those that have been advanced practitioners, trust me that this work, no matter how advanced practitioner you are, will be complementary to what you have practiced and what you have done. It will support your existing practices, and it will maybe make it even stronger and even more solid. We have experience in that regard too. We have like Buddhist scholars, we have transcendental meditation practitioners, we have Christian scholars. We have different lineages that are coming to experience this work.
And I love what you said, that this is not a religion. It is not a new way to worship. It is just, it's a path for us to discover ourselves and on the expansiveness of our beings. And that's very beautiful. And so for all of you watching, the pre-enrollment closes on March 24th, and you can pre-enroll online on Asil's website, which is asil.to, or you can just Google Asil, Asil, Toksal, Toksal, to find his website, which also has access to all of his incredible transmissions that are on YouTube. And I'm just really excited about this opportunity that you're bringing forth for everyone to, one, come together as a community, because I think that also is a very powerful practice in and of itself. I think you had mentioned at the beginning of our interview, and which I can relate to, not knowing where to fit in, not knowing who to relate to and which box to go into. And that can be disconcerting, just because, we are humans and we are here together. So to be able to find a community to connect with and be a part of as we go through this expansion and advancement process together is very powerful as well. And, really amazing that you've created this for all of us, Asil.
It's my pleasure, truly. And as you said, sometimes we don't feel like we belong anywhere,
Mhm.
especially when we are, star seeds and we're coming from different civilizations, and the soul is just traveled all around the, creation and ended up in a human form. And we're like, what is this? This nonsense, humanity is doing here. And and it may sometimes be difficult to really accept that powerful potential that one is holding inside, the powerful soul that one is, because we are not really seen anywhere for
Mhm.
who we are. And I believe that in this community, in this co-creation of this course, that in these transmissions, we enter a state in which we are truly seen for who we are,
Mm.
truly witnessed for who we are. Alone is an incredible shift
Mhm.
within one's consciousness. Being seen by the divine, being seen by your higher self for who you are, it's probably the greatest gift one can give to oneself.
Yeah. And to begin to see yourself as the divine.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm. So very powerful messages coming through you, coming through from the Elohim and the celestial and angelic realms. And
Mhm.
what a gift for all of us to be able to participate fully in a container for 4 weeks through the foundations course. So
Mhm.
it's going to be an exciting journey for everyone who decides to join and tune in to this experience together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we're super excited for this one because it's the first one we're doing in a year and a half. So we haven't done a foundations course in a year and a half. We took a long break to
Mhm.
really reinvent and establish the infrastructure to deliver a course of this magnitude and of this importance.
Mhm.
So a lot of energy, a lot of love, sweat, and tears have been poured into this course, into the create container, and we're very, very excited to share it with the world.
Amazing. Well, I'm very excited also that you are joining us to share this with us, with the Soul Search community, with
Yes.
Global Peace Tribe community, with all of the communities tuning in. We're all really connecting together now across the world because that is the time. This is the new paradigm where we're realizing we don't have to do this alone. We're no
Hmm.
longer, I mean, you can still choose the path of being a monk and being in a cave, but we are no longer, in that realm where you need to be that. We can be in community and be together and continue to be in our lives in the here and now, in Sonoma County, in Sedona, in
Yeah,
New York City, and work together to become that pillar, become those pillars of light, which is very powerful. And
right.
Asil, I know you're hosting an Ask Me Anything live on your YouTube channel at 11 a.m. today.
That's
So
right. In an hour from now. In an hour from now, if anyone wants to ask me more questions,
great.
we'll
Yes.
be we'll be online again, and I'll answer anything about my journey, about the awakening of humanity, as well as about foundations, if there is anything people want to know. Because it's been a whirlwind of a journey for me,
Mhm.
and I how important it was for me to go through what I'm going through in order to assist humanity in what humanity is going through. And every single individual human being is subject for awakening, subject to the awakening of humanity. There's no one is a, we're all going to be impacted by it. We're all impacted by it already.
Mhm.
So it's like, how do we build the capacity internally to receive that rising of energy and to really allow it to unfold within us?
Beautiful. And so if you would like to ask some Q&A with Asil around his course or anything else, you can tune in on his YouTube channel, youtube.com at Asil Toksal, and that will be at 11 a.m. Pacific today. And I just want to say this is just our first interview and conversation with Asil here at SoulSearch, but it is not our last. We're going to be
Yes.
doing a lot of different interviews, conversations, and shows together, and really diving into this work because we're all here together in our mission to support the awakening and the ascension of humanity. And for everyone, that journey is different. And what's amazing is we have so many different incredible teachers, healers, and guides who are here to support us on that process. So many different beings from the galactic realms, the celestial realms, the angelic realms, also coming through and supporting us. And, for every person, this journey is different and unique, but it's just powerful that we have, people like you, Asil, available for us to really, create this container that we can work with and through together.
Thank you, Tanjila, and individuals like yourself that, empower individuals like me and really allow the weaving of the web to become clear, so that basically noticing that we are a big family and we need to support each other to support all of humanity. And we are all in the same boat. Like there is no competition, there's no comparison. This is not, um, you know, who is better or who is this and who is that. It's like none of it is relevant, right? It's an uplifting of the entire human collective that we are doing together. So thank you for doing your work and bringing all of these beautiful humans and souls together.
Thank you so much. And yes, we all rise together. That is what we're doing. No one gets left behind.
That's right. That's right.
We're all rising together. And so I just want to thank you for joining me this morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And it's been an amazing conversation. I thank everyone who tuned in on the live or is tuning in on the replay. And just to stay tuned for the course that's coming up, definitely March 24th is the last day to pre-enroll. So I encourage all of you to jump in. I know I am going to, and I'm actually very, very excited about that. So looking forward to being a part of this process with you, Asil, and seeing what
It's going to be exciting to have you, Angela, and have your reflections.
looking forward to it. And I just want to, thank everyone for tuning in with SoulSearch. I'm Tanjila, the founder of SoulSearch, and we are an online global platform for spirituality and consciousness. We have incredible healers, teachers, guides like Asil Toksal on our platform, offering many different courses, retreats, sessions. So it's, we are creating this platform where we're bringing our soul family together, our soul tribe together, which is anyone and everyone across the world, but bringing everyone together in a place where people can begin to connect spiritually, share their fears, their hopes, their dreams, their wishes for themselves and for humanity, and find the support that they need to, continue this journey, to the utmost expansion of all of our souls and all of the world. And so it's a really exciting time for all of us, Asil. As you know, we are an amazing, and as we discussed early on, this is an incredible time for all of us here on planet Earth.
Truly, truly it is. Thank you, Tanjila.
So thank you for being with us today. Much more to be continued, a lot more conversations to unfold, of course. But I'm just really excited that we were able to start the discussion today, introduce everyone to Asil Toksal, your amazing story. And, I encourage all of you to tune in to his transmissions on Saturdays on his YouTube channel, as well as drop into the course. So we will be seeing you all soon. Thank you so much, Asil, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tanjila. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks.